right, let's get to some questions, see what's on the mind of folks. First up today, we got Larry in North Carolina. Does the Bible predict a nuclear war? No, quite to the contrary. You see, Earth is God's favorite place in the whole universe. How do we know that? Well, Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 8, he's speaking of Jebus, which was the original city name for Jerusalem. When David conquered Jerusalem, he changed the name to Jerusalem. But God married Jerusalem. It states there in Ezekiel 16:8 that he spread his skirt over. That means it's a figure of speech that means he married Jerusalem. And Revelation chapter 21, verse 1 and the following verses, when the eternity begins, what happens? God's throne descends onto earth, and this is where heaven is going to be through the eternity. God's not going to allow earth to be destroyed by a nuclear war. He is in control. Lynn in Texas, what happens to us when we die? And, we receive these questions a lot, and I know those of you who have been students for any length of time know the answer to that very, very well. But always be, compassionate toward the new students who are watching. And this person, Lynn in Texas, if he didn't want to know, he wouldn't have asked. So we're going to answer. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 6 and 7 gives us a figure of speech. When the silver cord parts, that means when we die, the flesh goes back to the earth and the spirit returns to our Father from which it came. Paul teaches on the subject in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 7 and 8, where and the first part of that chapter is really good too. He teaches that we have two bodies. We have a flesh body and we have a spiritual body. And in verses 7 and 8 of 2 Corinthians 5, Paul says to be absent from this flesh body is to be present with the Lord. We offer a suggested list of tapes and CDs for new students on page 3 of every monthly newsletter. One of those suggested studies is Where Are the Dead? And I highly recommend that you order that. It's important for you to know. And when you do know, what a comfort you can be to families who have lost a loved one and may not know where they are. They think we're getting ready to bury mom or grandma or pop and grandpa out here in a hole in the ground. And that's a terrible situation. But when you can tell someone the truth about where the dead are, it's a wonderful comfort to them. David